Okay.
All right, welcome everybody. My name is Ann Bossler and I'm the chair of the City of San Diego's Commission for Arts and Culture. We are going to do a quick roll call to confirm commissioner attendance. When I call your name, please unmute yourself and say present. Commissioner Rebecca Smith.
Present. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Commissioner Tyler Hughes.
Present. Good morning, all.
Good morning. Commissioner Opstad.
Good morning. Good to see everybody.
Good morning. Commissioner Friedman. You're muted, but we see you.
Present. Sorry.
All right. Thank you so much for your attendance. It has been noted. Also joining us today includes city staff, Executive Director Jonathan Gluss, Chief of Civic Art Strategies, Christine Jones, and our project manager, Belle Reza. Before we get into today's agenda, I am going to ask Belle to please run down some of the guidelines for today's meeting.
Okay, great. Good morning, commissioners. As you all have noticed by now, we are running this meeting as a Zoom webinar. This is in an effort to provide greater accessibility to the public who may now call in and provide public comment in real time. The meeting for you will function exactly the same as a typical Zoom meeting. Please do remember to keep your camera on, keep yourselves muted unless you are speaking, and use the chat box to signal when you'd like to speak. This is in order to comply with Brown Act. Thank you, Chair Bossler.
Okay, thank you so much. We will now move to non-agenda public comment. The public was invited to submit public comment on agenda and non-agenda items via a web form accessible through the agenda and the commission's website. Members of the public may also join this meeting as webinar attendees. If members of the public have submitted comments in writing via the web form, staff will read aloud the public comment submitted per city public comment protocol. I will now again call on Belle to please read aloud any non-agenda public comment or to call on any attendees who would like to provide such comment.
Thank you, Chair Bossler. Nothing was submitted in writing and there are no members of the public in attendance with us today.
Okay, wonderful. So now we're going to move on to our first action item. I hope everyone has had an opportunity to review the minutes from our, I just lost it. Give me 1 second here. Everyone has had the opportunity to review the minutes from our August 12th, 2022 meeting. Would anyone like to make a motion, please, to approve the minutes as they are? Commissioner Smith.
So moved.
Wonderful, thank you for that. And Commissioner Opstad?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you so much. Do we have any discussion? Okay. Before we vote, Belle, if you would please read any public comment for this item that was submitted in writing and call on any attendees that would like to provide public comment.
Perfect. There was nothing submitted and there is still no members of the public with us.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. So now we will go ahead and vote. As you all know, I'll call your name and then you will please respond out loud with yay, nay, or abstain. Please remember you do not need to have been present at the meeting to vote or to discuss. Commissioner Smith.
Yay.
Thank you. Commissioner Hughes.
Yay.
Thank you. Commissioner Opstad.
Yay.
Commissioner Friedman.
Yay.
And my vote is yay as well. Thank you so much. Before moving on, I'd like to ask Belle, if you would, to please pull up the results of the survey regarding commission dates and times. It appears that the majority of us like the virtual, and we will at some point be mandated to move to hybrid or to in-person as per the state Brown Act guidelines and the city clerk. But as for now, it looks like we're able to continue with the virtual. It also looks like people prefer keeping the meeting at its current date and time, but we want to let you know that we're still working through some details and we'll update the group at the full commission meeting. Does anybody have any comments?
Chair, have we heard anything from either the city clerk or city attorney about a timeline for returning either in hybrid or in person?
Jonathan, are you able to field that question?
Yeah, happy to. regarding the state, it is, truly TBD. We're in full response mode to them. They don't necessarily give us any advance notice. As far as the city clerk, it's really about city services and utility. And by that, I mean, for us to go to hybrid, us meaning the 48 boards and commissions, for any one of us to, and we officially can go hybrid. We can choose, this body, you all can choose to meet in person. You can choose to meet hybrid. You can choose to remain virtual. That there are no boards or commissions that have elected to return to in-person thus far. From the staff perspective, the challenge is right now, city council meeting room is the only one that has full technology for it to be easily managed from a tech perspective. The room that we used to meet in, council committee room, that one is still in the process of being upgraded. We had been told that it would be ready to go in September. It's not yet the case. So from the staff perspective, we're still not in a place where we're comfortable with moving to a hybrid unless we go into city council chambers, which I don't think you all want to do. It's my assumption.
And it would probably be a bit of a scheduling challenge.
It would.
Okay. Any other questions?
Well, I have a comment to make about this, just my own personal view. And that is, we had that full conference. It wasn't a conference, it was a retreat where the technology kind of failed us in many ways. And what that does is meetings like that, unless the technology works, the meetings are, in my opinion, kind of useless, because I missed at least 50 or 60% of what was being said. It was very frustrating not to be able to make any comments back because of the technology, and just not an efficient use of any of our time. And that's why, and certainly I realize people like the virtual because it is convenient, but I think you lose, my opinion is that you lose a very important communications aspect when you are not with your colleagues in a room, talking to them, seeing their actual facial expressions. That's that sort of collegiality that I think facilitates clear and authentic communication, as opposed to doing it in your home, in your pajamas, not that we do, but it's a little bit more casual. And I just think it's a much more efficient and much more effective use of time to have our meetings in person, unless the technology is such that it can sustain what we're trying to do, my opinion. Thank you.
Right, I hear that, and while I agree, and there's certainly things that need to be done in person, I think at this moment, some folks are still trying to balance the whole thing of family members that are compromised, and if they get COVID, then it becomes a super big impact on them, and just trying to balance all the different variables until we get to a place that maybe it's a little bit safer. So I think that these are great conversations. I think there is a lot of value in finding opportunities to come together, whether that's all the time for meetings or as we can. And I think we're going to find our way through this. It's frustrating on lots of levels for lots of reasons, but I just want to say to everybody how much we appreciate people hanging in there with us as we find our way through this, whatever the right answers are at the moment. Commissioner Hughes, did you wish to speak?
Just as a comment, Chair, as we move forward and navigate through, I think that I agree with Commissioner Friedman that there is that special sauce of meeting in person, of being able to spend time in the same room. And I think that's really important. But at the same time, I've never been more effective at my day job and being a commissioner than I have been being able to do this virtually, where I can sort of jump from one thing to the next. And I would urge us, as we figure out the opening up process, wherever that is and whenever that is, of coming back in person, that we consider keeping at least executive committee and the subcommittees as
Mhm.
virtual meetings, and only really focus on bringing us all together for the full commission. Because that, especially for those of us who sit on multiple committees, and for those of us who are, being still working day jobs, it is a really easy way to serve multiple areas of interest and import.
Thank you so much for that, Commissioner Smith.
That was not a motion, Commissioner Hughes, but I'm going to second it. I really appreciate the committee happening still virtually, and then see about what we can do in person. And then, as Commissioner Friedman is always encouraging us, all these amazing things are happening in the community. I didn't get a chance to actually chat with her, but last night, Alessandra and I were at the Children's Museum, and just so much going on. So however we can continue to encourage each other to go to our funded partners and everything they're doing, that's the way that we're going to also get that collegiality that we're talking about.
That's terrific. And just to put a plug in for the new Children's Museum, recently had a conversation with them. They've acquired an IMLS grant that they're going to be piloting at Ibarra Elementary, and it's going to be evaluated. And if successful, they're going to want to roll it out through VAPA throughout San Diego Unified, which is a socio-emotional programming that's rolled out as art programming for San Diego Unified. So super optimistic about that, and really appreciate everybody's feedback and willingness to continue to find our way through all of this. So next, we're going to go ahead and do a quick update, please, from the committee chairs or from city staff. Let's start, if we could, with policy and funding, please, Commissioner Smith.
So we have not met for a while, and we will be meeting in an hour and a half. So more to report then in the future. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. Public Art Committee, please, Commissioner Opstead.
Of course. We had a great meeting last Friday on September 2nd, and for the September's commission agenda, the Public Art Committee has 2 action items. Number 1 is the artist selection panelist for the Hidden Trails Park Public Art Project, and secondly, the artist selection panelist for the Willie Henderson Sports Complex Public Art Project.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you so much. Commissioner Hughes, Advocacy and Outreach Committee update, please.
We, like policy and funding, have not met for a while, but now that I'm back from my vacation, I look forward to connecting with Jonathan and planning out the push now that funding timeline has been moved up. So ready to hit the ground running on that. And by the way, just Keith, if you ever get a chance, go to Montreal, my friend. The public art there is next level.
On the list. Thank you, sir.
All right. And last but certainly not least, Commissioner Friedman, an update on the Commissioner Engagement Ad Hoc Committee, please.
Yes, well, I sent out a notification a couple of weeks ago, informing people of things that are happening, to invite them to attend. But one thing I do want to propose and to discuss, maybe not now, but at a later time, is we must have a list, and this kind of overlaps into Tyler's area, a list of all the organizations that we fund or we support in some capacity. And what I think I would like to consider doing is to send a letter on behalf of the commission, either me or through you, Chair Bosler, to each of these organizations, telling them basically that we're here and we would like to be invited to any of their events where they think it would be important for commissioners to attend. And then we would send that out as part of a monthly summary, Chinese menu of events that commissioners can go to represent the commission. I think one of the big problems I'm finding now is that there are a lot of events are going on. I'm not necessarily aware of them, and other people are not aware of them. But if we were aware of them, I think we would love to be able to at least make an attempt to attend and to inform them. But it's really part of the job of this particular ad hoc committee to get our commissioners out there to, especially to those organizations who are supporting.
What a great idea. I think that's terrific. And I think that if orgs want for us to come out and learn more about what they're doing, we could do that as well. I know in
Perfect.
addition to New Children's Museum, I recently had a chance to go to Liberty Station to see the arts district there. And I was really impressed, especially having COVID hit these organizations with such power. Folks have really done a nice job there at Liberty Station with having lots to offer for both children and adults. So Commissioner Friedman, yes, let's please work on that
Yeah.
letter. Happy to involve Jonathan, yourself, Belle, whomever is appropriate, and to be able to send out some communication. I think that that lets them know that we're here.
Well, what I'll do is I'll write up just an initial letter for approval and for editing. And then I can work with Belle, of course, with Jonathan's approval, and with you, Chair Bosler, to send the letter out to the various organizations we support, just basically tell them we're here and we want to come over. So when can we come over, sort of thing. That really does give people a sense that we are really being proactive, not just giving them money, but we're truly interested in what they're trying to do. But yes, we'll take care of that.
Wonderful, that's terrific.
Yeah.
Okay, Belle, any public comment for this item that was submitted in writing, or any attendees that would like to provide comment?
No, we do not have any public comment.
Okay, and then Commissioner Opstead, did I see that you wanted to say something?
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to compliment Commissioner Friedman on that work, and also that when we are invited directly from our creative partners, we don't have to necessarily report the cost of the tickets and things like that when we are invited personally. So just a little bit of clerical information there that I just wanted to make clear.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, we're going to move on to our action items now. The approval of the September 23rd, 2022 Commission agenda. The agenda was sent to you all as part of the meeting packet. I hope you all had an opportunity to review it. Would anybody like to make a motion to approve the Commission agenda as it is for September 23rd, 22? If you would, please type speak. Commissioner Friedman?
I so move.
Wonderful, thank you for that. Do we have a second? Commissioner Opstead?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you for that. We have a motion and a second. Before we vote, Belle, any public comment or anybody that would like to speak to the matter?
No public comment.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, any discussion before we vote? Commissioner Hughes, did you want to make a comment or was that a second?
That was a second, Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So now we'll vote. I'll call your names as you know, and please reply with yay, nay, or abstain. Commissioner Smith?
Yay.
Thank you. Commissioner Hughes?
Yay.
Thank you. Commissioner Opstead?
Yay.
Terrific. Commissioner Friedman?
Yay.
Okay, and my vote is a yay as well. Wonderful. We have our agenda now. Moving right along to staff reports. This juncture, I'm going to turn it over to Executive Director Jonathan Gless to please share his staff reports with us.
Good morning, everybody. A couple updates. Excuse me. First and foremost, I want to encourage everyone to attend the Art and Intersections event. Excuse me, Wednesday at 10 o'clock. That is a program of Catalyst. We are co-hosting this. It's a conversation with Eddie Torres, the president and CEO of Grantmakers in the Arts. I believe at this point 2 commissioners have registered, but if you can attend, I think it would be really informative for you. The conversation will really be a bit of a national perspective on grant makers who are working at the intersection of community and the arts, in particular, social services and racial and social justice. Also wanted to let you know that, actually, before I leave that, I appreciate Commissioner Friedman's comments about outreach and engagement. Happy to work with you on that. I want to be really transparent. Staff doesn't necessarily receive the level of invitations that we used to. And I believe part of this is organizations moving to email invitations or even Facebook as opposed to mail invitations, which means staff misses a lot of this as well. I'm happy to work with you on that. Just understanding that, like, I didn't know about the Children's Museum event. The other thing that I would like to mention is right now, because it's the new fiscal year, this is a time of year when staff is doing a tremendous amount of contracting with vendors. It's very process-driven work. Most of the team is working very closely with the purchasing department right now. Christine is almost exclusively working on vendor contracts. So for those of you who are new to the overall calendar of the commission's work, that's what August and September look like. We will be announcing the FY24 grant application guidelines later in September. And we'll be talking about that in detail at the Policy and Funding Committee. So that's just a bit of an insight into what staff work looks like right now. I believe that's all I need to report at this moment. Christine, is there anything you'd like to add?
No, not at this time.
And Belle, is there anything you'd like to add?
Not at this time. Thank you, Jonathan.
Okay.
Okay, with that, any other comments from anyone before we adjourn?
I think Rebecca had a question.
Right. I just wanted to respond, Jonathan. Thank you for the just the behind the scenes mode, right? Because you're absolutely right. Back in the day, we used to get a stack of like cards and invitations from our creative partners. Keith, I like creative partners better than funded partners. I love that. So, and you're absolutely right. They're moving more towards email. I'm even just looking at my email right now. And I wonder if there's one way to save staff time. Maybe when an invoice goes out or some kind of communication goes out to our creative partners, that just one list of our email addresses can be sent to the creative partners. And then that way they do what they want to with it. Most of them will probably double check and say, oh, there are new commissioners. Let's add them to the list. We've already got everybody else on, but then that way it's one message. Our emails, I believe, are public, right? We've agreed to make them public in that sense. So I wonder if that's an easier way than contacting each of the organizations directly. Just say, again, in the spirit of sharing, here's our roster of new commissioners, and you can add them to your mailing list accordingly.
That's brilliant.
Just a
because in the past, we couldn't do that because sharing commissioner emails, but because you've approved them or approved sharing them, we'd be delighted to do that.
Right.
That's a great idea.
And it just makes it easier. And then it puts it on each of the organizations to double check and make sure that we are on the list, which of course they will do. And then Commissioner Friedman can get his invitations all day long.
Yeah, what I want. I want a party like it's 1999. What? A little bit late, but okay.
Can we put that in the subject? You can put that at the top of the roster. This is a party like it's 1999 roster.
Thank you. Well, delighted to work on that.
Okay.
Easy to do.
And if I may make a recommendation, for those of us who have public or forward-facing Instagram accounts and or Facebook, we may consider adding those as well, because some organizations don't do traditional email newsletters, don't do e-bites, but they do send out specifically through those social media services as well. Especially the younger organizations. God, I sound old.
Also, one thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a new Gmail account, which I will use not only for these more formal events, so that all invitations, all of that, if I ever get any sort of communication, I can go to this one, so it doesn't like fill up my personal
Oh, that's smart.
account. So when it's so easy to open up your own new email address, I would recommend that with people. So, and I'll send that information to you too, Belle, because I think going forward, I think all of my communication regarding this commission should go there for my sake.
And I wonder if Bell doesn't have to deal with all this incoming, outgoing traffic. If maybe there's just one spreadsheet. Commissioners, please let us know how you want our creative partners to reach out to you, social, email, whatever. One spreadsheet. Bell doesn't have to look at emails. We populate it, and then it goes out under Party Like It's 1999 subject line.
Yeah, and I do have some ideas on how best to get that out. So I think maybe we'll do a letter from Commissioner Friedman, updated list, and I'll contact Commissioner Friedman to get that going.
I just want to make it easy on you, Belle, so you don't have to look at a ton of emails.
Yeah,
Also,
we'll make it
I'm
happen.
also more than willing to help you, Belle, by just taking on that burden of putting all of those email addresses in one Excel sheet, or however way you want to do it. So if you need some administrative help on that, in that regard, I'm happy to help you out there.
Okay, I'll check in with you after this meeting. We'll get that going.
Terrific. Thank you.
Okay, everybody, weather the hurricane easily, let's hope, and have a beautiful weekend ahead. With that,
Thank
this
you.
meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you, everybody.
Be safe.
Bye-bye.
Well.